right, I'm just going to record this session because I want to hold on to this for future use for our team and as well for any like onboarding if we have new staff. So hello everyone in the future. All right, my name's Kyle. I'm from Maple and Honey. And today I just want to do a basic overview of Facebook ads. This is just for people at a beginner's level. I want to give you an oversight in terms of what is Facebook ads and Business Manager, what you can do with it, how to set up a campaign, and also look at a few other maybe technical things. I wanted to start and just say, does anybody have any experience with Facebook ads to start with? And I realize that it's Lani here now. So Lani, do you have any experience with Facebook ads or any questions before we start? I'll give you a bit of time to type out your answer. Okay, no problem. No experience. So we're going from a clean slate. Now I know that some people in our team probably have, varying levels of experience, but I'm going to take it from the very beginning. And as we go over the next few weeks, we'll step it up and try to make it a bit more complicated. All right, so let me just quickly share my screen so I can show you, what Facebook advertising platform looks like. So what is Facebook Business Manager? So Business Manager is a new backend of Facebook, which allows businesses to manage their assets, things like their pages, their Instagram account, their advertising, their pixels, their product catalogs, all in one place. They've done this probably, in my experience, probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they started pushing everyone over to it permanently. I can't remember when, but it's gotten a lot better over time. Before it used to be quite buggy, and it's getting better and better as we go on. So essentially Business Manager is just a center place for you to be able to get in and manage your assets and manage your clients as well. So for us, we have our agency, we have a whole bunch of ad accounts and pages that we manage for our clients. And then we also have some pages that we manage for our own businesses as well. So essentially from Business Manager in Facebook, you're able to see, assign people to manage your page. I've just gone to the business settings in Business Manager, and there's quite a lot of content in here. So it can be very overwhelming. The most common feedback I get from our Facebook clients is, I tried to set up ads in Facebook and I just got overwhelmed. It's way too hard. I can't be bothered. You guys take over. And that's really the most common sentiment that I've been getting, which is a shame because I think that Facebook's very powerful, not only for businesses, but also just for, people who are interested in how, people interact online and kind of from a psychological perspective. But you are able to see just how much data and information there is here. For example, with measuring and reporting, using the Facebook Pixel, which is a bit of code that you take from Facebook and install, I'd say, in your website, you're able to track how users interact with your website, from what pages are they visiting, what products are they purchasing, how long are they spending looking at products, how often do they come back, what's the lifetime value of those customers. So there's a lot of really interesting data. And unlike Google Analytics, which doesn't really tell you too much about demographics, Facebook, because they've got your user profile, they know how old you are, what your gender is, what location, what city you live in, they know a lot about you. The analytics with Facebook are pretty damn good. So there's a lot of information in Business Manager, not just from an advertising perspective, but also from a learning and analytical perspective. So with Facebook Business Manager, there are this is the business settings that that you can access in Business Manager. So like I was saying before, this is where I can add new users to our account and assign assets to for them to manage. So for example, if I was going to add, let's say I was adding Lani today, and I was just going to do it for Lani at Maple Honey. I'm on my MacBook, so you guys are going to have to forgive me for my keyboard. So Lani at Maple Honey, just as an example, you can choose the level of access that you want to share. You can choose what assets you want to share with that person. So I'm just going to do Maple Honey for today. All right. You can choose the level of access that they get to the page. So whether I want you to be a page admin, an editor, just advertiser, or an analyst, and each of these have different, obviously, permissions that they're able to do on the page. So I'm just going to let you be an advertiser, which means that you'll be able to create ads for the page. I'll then assign assets for advertising account. So again, I'll search Maple Honey, see if that comes up with anything. Yep. And catalogs. Now, catalogs are a bit more advanced, but with Facebook, you are able to import in your products from your website if you're an e-commerce store or an e-commerce feed so that they're automatically updated, and use those for ads so that people can click on them, purchase them, and do that all from Facebook and Instagram as well. So there's a whole bunch here. Let me see if I can find our products. They're not here. It's probably because I haven't assigned them to me or something silly. Or there's something like Kit Catalog. I hate that. So that's how you can invite people into to your business manager. The reason I'm going over this is because I thought it'd be good to give you an overall view on how it works. I thought I'd just quickly ask, do you have any questions so far, Lani? Being the only special person who's made it to my training today. I'm just seeing if there's any chats. Where's my chat? Oh, all over the show. All right, no problem. Well, look, I am recording the session, so if you're more than welcome to take notes, but I will upload this and share it with the team afterwards as well. All right, cool. So that's how you can add people into the account, and obviously how things are divided up. Everything is seen as an asset in Facebook, which means that a page is separate to an ad account, separate to an Instagram account, separate to your products, separate to a pixel, and it's all managed from within here. The reason being is that as your company grows and as Facebook grows, you might have people overseeing different things. You might have somebody who's a Facebook manager and their job is to post 3 times a day. You might have somebody who's on Instagram and their job is to post 3 times a day. You might have somebody who's responsible for advertising on both pages. So you want to make sure that you have the capacity to scale, grow, and bring people in. Welcome, Yuri.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good. I've just recorded this, so I don't have too much time today, so I wanted to make sure that I was getting started at 4. So I've already gone through just the basics, but I think you're coming at a good time. So Lani's on chat, so she's just saying hello as well. What I'm doing today, Yuri, is just going through the basics of Facebook advertising, and I'm starting with Business Manager. Do you have any experience with Facebook Business Manager, or is this your first time kind of going through it?
Yeah, this is my first time.
Perfect. All right, great. So I'm going to keep it basic. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Essentially, I've just touched on how Business Manager works, how it's set up and structured.
I see. Sorry,
Yep.
yes, I have experience with that one. I forgot.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So essentially, I'm just explaining, the structure in terms of how assets work, how pages, ad accounts, Instagram, your pixel, everything's separated, just so that, you can assign things to different people. And as well, it's not just for advertising. There is a lot of useful tools in here from a perspective of analytics and reporting and testing and learning, as well as holding on to your assets, more so from like your images and your videos and things. So Business Manager is expanding into some really cool areas, especially analytics. That's the thing I'm most excited about at the moment, is really getting some good demographical data on your website visitors and seeing, the genders and the age groups and lifetime value and all that type of fun stuff. So I'm a bit of a geek. I like looking at numbers, and this type of stuff excites me. All right, so let's get to the exciting stuff, guys. So now that I've given you a quick overview on how Business Manager is set up and how the different areas are kind of separated, what I'm going to show you is more about the Facebook advertising. Now, I want to show you, before we jump in, a diagram which outlines the structure that I normally do set up for our advertising. Now, bear in mind, I know it looks crazy and it might be a little bit overwhelming, but this is essentially what we call our Facebook funnel. Now, with Google advertising, let's compare it to Google. Google and Facebook are very different. Google advertising, you're generally getting your ads in front of people who are searching for a product or a service, already have a desire to potentially purchase, and are in that purchasing cycle. So they're already looking for a product or a service and just kind of trying to find out more about it. Is the quality good? What are the reviews? What's the price? They're doing the research. With Facebook, it's very different. you're not at that decision-making process. People might not have even considered buying the product that you're trying to sell. So it's a bit more of a long tail, a longer life cycle. And it does require a lot of different activities. So in terms of that, you do need to kind of look at it from a sales perspective and setting up a sales funnel. The way that I do it is, and I work a lot with e-commerce clients, is I'll generally have 3 sections to my ads. I'll have top of funnel activity, which is to try to attract or at least get the awareness of new audiences. I'll have a middle funnel type of activity, which is actually over here, which is trying to re-engage with people who might be aware of my brand, followers on a page, people who have liked, posts on Instagram, people who have watched videos, so they know who you are, or at least are aware of your content. And you're trying to make an offer to get them into your website to start, trying to buy a product. So that's middle of funnel type of activity. And the last one is bottom of funnel, which is essentially trying to get people to buy. So if they've visited your website, they've looked at a product, these are the ads that pop up after you've looked at a product, left, and not purchased. And you see them on your Instagram again, or you see them on Facebook, or you see them on a website. You're kind of like, how do they know? Those are the ads that are trying to retarget people who have visited your website and place the ads in front of them again. So that's the funnel that we normally would do. The way to break that down a little bit more is that, you could start at the very top with trying to put videos in front of people of interesting content or blog posts that are related to the industry of your company or your client. This would be things like, for Maple and Honey, as an example, here's 5 great ideas to market your business in 2018. If we had a blog post like that, I'd be advertising that because I'm trying to attract the right type of clientele to our website who would be interested in our services, marketing, advertising, getting noticed, in the modern day. So blog posts are a great way to generate traffic and interest based on, how long people spent on the blog post. You can kind of tell this person probably read it. Let's re-engage those people. Same goes with videos. So with Facebook, it's great to promote video content because nobody's really utilizing this at the moment. So to get in front of new audiences of people who don't know your brand, video content can be a fantastic way to get in front of people and, give them some value. So it might be a video again on here's the latest trends in Facebook advertising, talk about how the algorithm has changed, how you can install a pixel and be able to track a lot more data on your customers. Just kind of like talking to like Facebook Live videos, how to best use them. Videos that are a little bit more educational, that are helpful, that are informative, and that are related to your client's, industry or service. Is that all making sense?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
Yes, it is.
So once you've got the attention, people have kind of taken note. Lani's saying yes, I think.
Yeah.
So once you've got their attention, what you're trying to do now is push them through that sales funnel so that you've got their attention, you've provided some value, they're interested in what you've got to say. You're now trying to say, hey, well, look, you read our blog about 5 tips on how to advertise your business or how to market yourself online. Would you be interested in our free download, a PDF, or would you be interested in a 50% discount on our services? You're trying to give them a strong offer to help them in a similar type of fashion, but this time a little bit more salesy. So you're trying to now warm them up to potentially considering your services or products. And that's kind of the middle of funnel activity. So I don't know if you can see my screen too well here, but generally it will filter in from your top of activity down to like another ad that will offer something like a lead magnet or a trip line offer, which basically means a lead magnet is like a free, I hate free downloads, but it's like, hey, download our free ebook on how to market your business, how to subscribe for our services for $1 in your first month. It's kind of giving them a really strong offer to come into your website and get some more value from your business. From there, you can generally know if that person is interested to, or not interested, but if they're more open to buying from your client or from your company. So that's generally how we would approach our Facebook funnel. And then from there, if they do go through this, so let's say we have Lani who sees my ad, She goes to my blog, she reads it, and then 7 days later, I'm like, cool, let's target people who have read my blog, and we'll give them a really good offer. We'll say, download my free ebook on how to be the world's best VA. And, she's gone there, she's downloaded our book. I know that she seems pretty interested in what we've got to say. 7 days later, I'm going to go, all right, subscribe to our service on how to, our coaching service on how to be the best VA in the world. It's only $15 a month and we'll give you X, Y, Z. You try to have a lot of value in this conversion ad, and you're trying to push them through to the product page. So that's kind of the approach that we take from a Facebook advertising standpoint. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. If Lani, heaven forbid, decides not to buy, what you can do with Facebook, you can actually set up retargeting ads, which basically mean you can see on the website if somebody looks at a product page and if they've purchased or added to basket, or they've added to their wish list, or they tried to purchase and something happened. And you can set up retargeting ads that will show them the exact same product with a dynamic ad that would be like, hey, Lani, we saw that you tried to purchase, and you put in, a little snippet of code that will be like, put the product name here. And something happened. Oh no, boo-hoo. Here's a 25% off voucher if you can buy this now, but it's only valid today, so get in quick. And you try to do kind of, ads along those lines that will bring her back in and be like, oh no, I should have bought, I forgot. Get her back in. And if she doesn't, you can have another bottom of funnel kind of activity. So it could be the first one being like, hey, we saw you tried to buy X product. What happened? We miss you. Please buy. And if they don't, you can have another ad that comes up to them and be like, hey, here's 5 reasons why our product's amazing. Still doesn't buy, you could have another ad. Hey, here's what all of our customers are saying about this great product that you're missing out on. And if it still doesn't work, you can have, something followed up. I tend to just have one ad because I'm a simple person. But, when I have clients with bigger budgets and you do want to flesh it out, I generally set it up like this. So kind of have not a pushy tactic, but just so that it's not the same message over and over again. And, you being like, could you please leave me alone? I don't want your product. You're giving them a few different ads that give them a better experience. So it's kind of like, I'm not trying to sell to you. I'm just trying to tell you how awesome this product is based on what our clients are saying. So it does work, but it takes a bit of effort to kind of set it all up. Does that all make sense, guys? That's pretty straightforward?
Yes.
Cool. Now, I think you're probably wanting me to show what it actually looks like in Facebook. So we'll go over there. So let me open up. Let's see if I can go into, all right. I'm going to open up one that I've just set up just recently for one of our clients. The way that I normally start, guys, is whenever I have a new client, I always start with very small budgets. The reason we do this is that we're in the testing phase when we first start. So what you want to do, or at least what I do, is generally try to set up campaigns with a limited budget so that she's not, our clients aren't investing way too much money, and start small. Start measuring the results and kind of see how things go. And you can optimize and split test and kind of see how things go, optimize, and then make it better and better. And generally over time, maybe in the first couple of weeks, you're going to start finding what's good and what's not. And you'll be able to make a decision on what you should scale. So with Facebook, you can see everything down to every dollar you're spending, every click you're getting, and every sale that you're making as a result. So you can calculate your return on investment really well and go, this ad is working. This ad is not. This ad, we're going to double the budget. This ad, we're going to stop spending money on. So you can make some good decisions quickly about which ads should be scaled and which ones should be probably let to die. So I set this one up last week, but it only really started gaining traction this week. And they've got a very low budget. So you can see that the daily budget is $5 per day per campaign. And Facebook isn't quite kicking into things as of yet because the algorithm needs to kind of work out who to put it in front of. So it's not always going to spend your daily budget. So let me just explain what I've got in front of me here. So where I've gone now, guys, is the ads manager in Facebook. Now you might be familiar with this, you might not, but this is where you can create ads in Facebook and Instagram, and do it very quickly by going through and setting up like what your objective is. So what I mean by that is Facebook allows you to set up campaigns and pick what type of objective that you want to achieve. Now you could want it, everybody's different, right? Every business is going to have a different objective for what they want when they're advertising. So the great thing about Facebook is it gives you some pretty broad terms, some pretty broad options in terms of like what you're able to do. So you can see here in front of me, I clicked on create new campaign, and this is what Facebook's going to walk you through. Essentially what it's going to ask you is, well, first things first, what do you actually want to do? Do you want to build brand awareness? Do you want to reach more people? Do you want to get traffic to your website? Do you want to have engagement on your posts? Do you want to get people to install your apps? There's a whole bunch of options here that you can choose from. So going back to the funnel, you can see that each of these have a different objective. And generally, you want to optimize your campaigns so that they have that type of objective in mind. So we have our top of funnel. Our objective is trying to get them to click through to our blog. We have another one where the objective is video views. We have another one where the objective is going to be conversions. So every campaign in the funnel is going to have a different objective, and you need to set it up correctly. One thing to note is conversions isn't always, because I see a lot of clients' accounts where everything's set on conversions because what they want to do is sell products. That's not the best way to do it. And Facebook actually needs to have a certain number of sales on your website before it can really optimize and the algorithm can really kick in to help convert. So if you've got a new client, it doesn't actually pay to go to conversion straight away. It actually, you want to drive people through to the website and start building sales organically before you start moving to the bottom of funnel. So you are able to pick a few different things. I'll just go through and set up like a dummy campaign here so you guys can see. And I've actually needed to set up a campaign, so this is a good opportunity for me. So what I'm going to set up today is just a video view, just to show you how you can set up a campaign. So first, I'm going to go and select the objective of the campaign, which is video views. Scrolling down, it's next going to ask me to name the campaign. So I have a naming convention that I use just so that I know where I'm up to. And that's generally just, our agency, the type of campaign, and then the date. There's a few options here as well, which I use both because especially early on, well, I use budget optimization and split tests in order to do exactly those things. So split tests allows you to compare one thing against another. So whether you want to try woman versus men, Facebook versus Instagram, mobile versus desktop, people who love dogs versus people who love cats. You can choose silly things or not so silly things to split test and go, which one's the winner out of these two? And over time, you're going to come down with a very niched audience of hyper high performance type of audience, hopefully anyways. So I'll set up a split test for this so that we can kind of, I'll show you what I mean. Oh, cool. Because this is a new account, Facebook does have some tutorials and guides you through stuff. So if you ever do want to try it out and do this for yourself, there are some pretty handy guides. And Blueprint is another useful tool for Facebook, which is their training platform. All right, so I've clicked on continue from campaigns. One thing I should note, which I just realized I haven't touched on, every campaign is set up into 3 groups. It's very similar to Google if you have any experience with that. But you'll have a campaign, which is on top here. You'll have ad sets, which is basically different, looking at like the demographics, how much do you want to spend per day, where do you want the ad placed, so Facebook, Instagram, audience networks, whatever. And then you're also going to have underneath that all of your ads. So you can have one campaign with a number of ad sets, and you can have one ad set with a number of ads, and it sits like an umbrella. So everything goes underneath each other.
Okay.
Ad sets allow you to do things like I'll just show you now. And ads, I think everybody knows what an ad is. But with this campaign, I'm just going through a little bit more complex. I want to do a split test just because it's a new campaign. And generally what I'll split test is either creative or audience. Placement, you can generally I don't know. I don't normally split test placement because I do like to have everything on its own. So like if I'm advertising on Instagram, I'll have Instagram set up on its own ad set, and Facebook I'll do the same, just because they're both different. They'll have different types of copy, different video, different image sizes. I like to tailor them to the right platform. So what I'm going to test today is just the audience. So in this split test, it's actually going to provide two different audiences that I'll be able to use in this one ad, and we'll use the same ad. So with setting up a Facebook campaign, the next thing that you're able to do is pick your audiences. So if I click edit here on ad set A, Facebook is going to ask me like, who do you want to target? So who do you want to put your ads in front of? Now, I generally try to keep it very broad because Facebook is going to use its algorithm to place your ads in front of the right people based on who it thinks is going to work best. So that's changed recently. You used to go super niche, but now the best practice is to go more broad and allow Facebook to work its magic on your behalf. Now this client though, she is selling, she's selling to new parents. So people who have just had children. I've already created some custom audiences, which are loaded down here. Now we'll touch on that in a bit more of an advanced video, just to kind of go through what audiences are, lookalikes and custom audiences. But just to give you a quick rundown, you are able to create audiences based on visitors to your website, people who engage on your Facebook page, people who look like your customers or your followers on Instagram. So there's a lot of ways that you can set up audiences based on what would work best. And you can see I've already created quite a few. And I'm doing that because you don't want to throw your money at just, advertising to everybody. You want to make sure that you're narrowing it down and making sure that it's kind of targeted a bit better. So I've created a lookalike audience based on their customers. What I'm going to do as well, though, is I'm going to do some filtering. So we're targeting people in Australia. Age, I'm going to leave open. Gender, I'm also going to leave open because I'm going to do some filtering down below. I'm going to do English just so that it's, English ads are being put in front of people who speak English. And as well, because what the ideal target market is new parents, what I can do is I can filter out and say, I want to target parents of people with kids aged between a certain age. And I'm going to go for parents of new parents, 0 to 12 months, and parents 1 to 2 years, because their product is perfectly suited for that demographic. So I just want to see the audience size. All right. The great thing about Facebook is as you're making these changes, if you go back up, it's going to show you the audience size based on the parameters you're putting in. And it will show you a summary of who you're targeting as well. So that's 25,000 people. That's actually quite small. I want it to be a bit bigger if I can. So I might just go for one more age group up as well. So 46,000. That'll do. Well, we're doing a split test, so we won't go too hard for demo purposes. So the next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to set up a split test. So I'm going to try a different audience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a broad audience of people just like that one. So I'll copy this. So it's going to put in the same details. Oh, it's different. Okay, so there was a saved audience there. So I'm going to edit this in a tick anyways. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it so that instead of it being a lookalike audience, I'm just going to leave it open. And what I want to see is my lookalike audience really that good? Or is it just, irrelevant information? Because it's always good to test these audiences and make sure that they actually do work. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll open that up to both genders. It's going to be a lot more people. So essentially what I'm testing here, guys, is I'm going to be testing, is the lookalike audience that we've built better than just Facebook being open and it deciding who to market to? Is this making sense so far? I feel like I might be going a little bit too in depth.
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. So that's how I'm going to fly through it fairly quickly, just because I'm conscious of time. But That's how I would set up audiences. And I normally would test a lot on audiences because that's where I see the most value, is trying to get in front of the right people, not waste money. The next thing I want to show you guys is how you can edit placements. So placements is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically, where do we want the ads to be shown? Because I'm going to be promoting one of her videos, I need to be conscious that the placement has to be where videos can be shown. To make it really simple, I'm going to remove all placements besides Facebook and Instagram. So there's a whole bunch of options here. You know, with Facebook, you can choose like the marketplace, videos, instant articles. I don't want any of that. I'm just going to keep it really simple for today for the video, and just have Facebook feeds, which is just in, you know, people's news feeds, and then Instagram feed as well. And we might even have to remove the Instagram feed because the video, I believe, that the clients asked me to promote might be a bit long. If it's over 60 seconds, you can't put it on Instagram. Although they've introduced Instagram TV recently, which does allow longer videos. So we're going to see today if that's changed, promoting videos. So that's how you can edit placements. You can choose where you want it to show. You can also choose whether you want it to be on mobile or desktop, which is quite handy. I think that we're going to leave it on both because I'm interested to see which one performs better. And you can also choose like what type of devices. So if you want, you can say, hey, I only want to show it on, you know, iOS or Android, which does come in handy, especially like if you're in, you're promoting an, you know, an Android app. Obviously, you'd only be targeting Android phones, right? All right. So sorry, I'm skipping over this section, but delivery optimization is basically, with this video, what are we aiming for, and how do we want to pay? This stuff is pretty much, you can leave it on default, unless you're trying to do something that, I don't know, if you have a really short video and you want to optimize for shorter videos, you can change that here, but I'm just going to leave it all as it was. And scrolling down, the next thing, guys, is basically your daily budget. So how much do you want to spend per day? I'm going to do $5 per day. And that's going to be split across both ad sets. So if I'm doing a split test and it's just asking, do you want it to be evenly split or weighted split, which is, you know, do I want it to be a different percentage? We'll just even split it. Then it's going to ask you, when do you want it to start? Do you want to set a start and end date? I'm just going to leave it. I want to start today. And you can also choose how long to run for. So I'll do 7 days. But what I'm going to do is, if it finds like one of the ad sets is doing way better than the other, I want it to end the ad, and I'll use that ad set in a new campaign. So that's how we would finish setting up an ad set. Before I move on, do you guys have any questions? Just want to make sure that you're following along okay. I got a lot of yeses. Sorry?
Yes. Yes, okay. Sorry?
No, I was just asking if everything was okay and you could understand it.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So the last thing in terms of using Facebook ads is just setting up your advertising. So this is pretty self-explanatory, and I picked this one because I want to show you how to promote a post. So I'm going to say video post promo, put in today's date, and I'm just going to use one of her posts. But just to show you quickly, there's a bunch of different formats that you can choose in ads. So if this wasn't a video, and let's say it was just a normal ad, you'd have like a carousel, you'd have a few different options. You can do pop-up screens so that if you're on a mobile and you click on it, it will have like a landing page underneath, and you can do a few other things. I'll show you how to do that as well. But I just want to kind of keep it simple as well. I don't want to go too hard out. Let's skip canvases for now. But that is a good feature, fairly new, like it's been there for probably just under a year. And people are starting to use it a lot more. I've seen it a lot all over. So what I want to do, guys, is when I come to an ad, you can either choose to create a brand new ad yourself, upload your own copy, upload your own video, do everything yourself, which is quite often what I do. But with videos, I know that this client does have some videos already that she wants us to promote. So I'm going to skip over creating a new ad because, you know, that's something we can cover later. And I'm just going to use an existing post. So the first thing to note is what account you're using, and make sure that it matches the client, because especially when you have multiple different accounts. I don't know why, but Business Manager does actually change this. So you might be advertising for one client and another client's name pops up here, and you just skip right through this section. And all of a sudden you've got an ad being paid for by one client, which is promoting another with, somebody else's products. Like, it just looks terrible. So you do need to be conscious that that's the right person. Scrolling down here, this is where you can create your ads in Facebook. Now I've selected Facebook and Instagram. So as I select a post, you're going to be able to see a ad preview on the right-hand side here. And this is how you can kind of judge what it's going to look like. So there's only one video, and the client was quite excited about promoting this. So I'm quite keen to see how it looks. So you can see as soon as I select the post, Facebook gives us a preview on that ad right here. If I wanted to choose what it's going to look like on different mediums, on different placements, I can do it from here. So mobile newsfeed, desktop newsfeed, I can see what it's going to look like. Instagram, let's make sure that it works. Awesome. Yeah, so that works across the board on all placements. So that means that the video is either short enough, or Instagram have changed the rules, and that's now no longer an issue. Either way, great. They both look fantastic. So I'm pretty happy with that. And that was a really easy setup for a Facebook ad. So the last thing to show you is essentially how this is all tracked. So you can see down here that there's conversion tracking. And it's going to ask you, how do you want this to be tracked? Do you want it to be tracked by a pixel? And it's going to show you, what pixels are linked to the account. So I set up the Inner Confident Kids pixel, which is installed on their website. And what that will allow us to see is if somebody clicks on this ad, watches the video, and then goes to the website, purchases a product, we'll be able to actually say to the client, this ad resulted in a sale for this much money. And we spent X amount, and we can calculate, what your return on your investment is. So it's a very powerful tool to have, and it just means that we can demonstrate the exact return on investment for our clients, which is what it's all about. So making that linked on every Facebook ad is crucial. Some people don't do it, but it's definitely something that I think that every advertiser should be doing. So the last thing to do, guys, is pretty much confirm your ad. I'll click on review so we can see what we've done. Did I click? Yep, cool. So essentially, it's going to give us a quick summary of our campaign. So we can see that our objective is video views. We're doing a split test on the audience. The campaign name is this. We've got 2 ad sets with a daily budget of $5. That's split $2.50 each. The schedule is over 7 days. We're doing it on Facebook and Instagram for videos. And there's an ad drafted, and we've named it this. So that's cool. The last thing I need to do is just click confirm. And voila, we've set up our first ad. Too easy. So that's essentially, guys, how to set up an ad in Facebook. And obviously Facebook and Instagram are combined. So, oh no, campaign objective. Tell you what, Facebook is so buggy. I've found so many problems whenever you set up a campaign, just stuff not working, and it kills me. So I'll have to look at that a bit later. But just for now, let me close it. It'll save as a draft. Cool. That's essentially how we set up a campaign. Now I've only got a few minutes left on the recording with Zoom, so I'll try to just quickly touch on reporting and showing you the results. So this was the first page that I showed you, and I know it looks a little bit confusing, but essentially this is where all the results will be displayed for your campaigns and how they're running at the moment. So you can see I've set up 3 campaigns and now a 4th for the video views, and this has been running only for a few days. So it doesn't have a huge amount of reach or anything really to brag about. But what this is going to show you, I've got a customized report. So let me just go back to the basics. What it's going to show you is the reach. So how many people have seen your ads? This is actual people. The impressions. So how many times your ad was put in front of people. It's going to show you any cost per result or any results. So all of them have different objectives, right? One might be, I want more people to engage with my posts. So more comments, more likes, more shares. Another one might be, I'm trying to drive traffic to the website. and another one might be I'm trying to get people to purchase. So they're all going to have different. Hey guys, are you still there?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Sorry, my video just dropped out. Everything stopped. I tried to chat. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Where did we get up to? Where did I drop out?
Where are we? With the buggy thing.
All right. Let
Actually,
me
it hangs on my side on the last part.
Okay.
So I'm not seeing your screen.
Oh, you're not? Okay. Let me try again. Stop sharing and I'll share again. 1 second.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So essentially, I'll sum up quickly because I think we're about to run out of time. But this screen here will show you all of the results for your campaign. So, the common metrics that people look at are the reach, the impression, what's the costs, looking over here, link clicks and things like that. I have a custom report, which I like to run, which shows everything. But I'll just quickly cover like what's here, because this is what is shown by Facebook by default, which I think is not enough. But the basic metrics are, how many impressions, what's the reach, how many clicks, how much have you spent, what's the frequency rate? So this one here, it's basically frequency rate means how many times are the same people seeing your ad. So 5 is quite high, which means that our middle of funnel is not getting enough people from the top of funnel activity. So I could probably put more budget into the top of funnel type of activity. That's surprising though, because I'm targeting all of their Instagram followers and things like that. So anyways, what I like to look at in here and what you can look at, you guys still there? I just want to check. Yep, still there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what I like to look at are a few key metrics that kind of determine a fairer understanding of how much it costs. So cost per 1,000 people, cost per 1,000 impressions. You can see here that our cost is sky high for this one. So I would really want to either cut this campaign and start focusing on more top of funnel activities, or review why it's costing so much. Because I'd say the cost per 1,000 people, depending on who you're targeting, I reckon it should be much lower than that. Like I'd say more around the $20 mark, $30 at the most. So that's definitely something I need to look into. This is a new campaign, so it doesn't look like there's been a lot of people going through it. So that means probably to me that the audiences we set up are not broad enough. So there's not enough people. So definitely need to look at that. Sorry, my screen's going all over the show. Go back. All right, so you can look at these two metrics as kind of the pillars of advertising, because it gives you a really good understanding of the costs associated. So good question. So Lani, has asked, what's the difference between cost from 1,000 people and cost from 1,000 impressions? So cost per 1,000 people is actually, exactly that. So it's the cost of getting in front of 1,000 people. Now, because it seems to have a very small audience, it seems like it's costing a lot because there's not that many people. So the money that we're spending is going in front of the same people. Impressions is how many times, doesn't matter who it is. So it could be, 1,000 impressions to the same person. It's not a good thing to have 1,000 impressions to the same person. And that's kind of seeing what's going on here. What might be the problem is that the ads are being shown to the same people too many times. So it's costing a lot more. So cost per impressions is just how many times the ad is being shown in general. Doesn't matter who to. Hope that answers your question. A few of the other metrics here that I'd like to point out, CPC is the cost per click. So we can see how much it's costing for these people to click through to the website. So these both have a pretty low cost per click, which is not too bad. And the click-through rate is actually pretty high. So CTR is click-through rate. How many times are people, when they see the ad, actually clicking? And both of them have 3 to 4%. That's pretty good. but it's still early days. These metrics don't really mean too much. It's just, these ones definitely are what I use early on to kind of go, how much am I spending? Is it worth it? So this one here, I definitely want to look at after this call. The next few things are what I like to call vanity metrics. They're not really that important, but a lot of clients like to know what's going on. So things like, are people engaging with the page? Are they liking my page? Are they engaging with my post? Did they like it? Did they share it? So you can see here that we're doing pretty well. Like we've only spent a very low amount of money on this campaign so far. And the top of funnel, man, they've gotten 43 engagements for the page, 35 on the post. So that means that there's a bunch of people who have gone and liked the page or reacted, and 6 people have shared it, which is really good. Because I think they've only spent like a couple bucks, well, $20. Yeah, that's not too bad. You kind of expect that. So that's not too bad. And scrolling over, so I've added all of these columns. Normally you don't see them. And you can add in a lot more columns by customizing things in Facebook. So I like to have my M&H full report so I can see everything that's going on. So a lot of these are going to be blank because they don't have the objective